Good evening. Good evening. Sorry for the tardiness. One thing about technology, it has its own mind, as some suggest. And so, if it wants to do something that you don't want it to do, but it feels like it's time to do it, it will do it. So, here we are. But we're here. We'll give it a minute or two to let you know we're here. Again, we apologize for the tardiness. All right. Just started checking things here. We're ready to go. Again, I'll give it about a minute, and we apologize for our tardiness. For those watching this back, hope you're well. Hope you're having a good week as we come down to the end. We are, as of tomorrow, well, Friday, Saturday, halfway through. Good evening to you. Halfway through the month of October, which means we are counting on down to the end of the year. End of the year, the weather is, I live in the South, and it's trying to change. Keeps promising me it's going to be cooler, and it doesn't seem to want to get there. Promises not kept at this point. Anyway, so that's it. We started a little late, but want to give an extra minute or so to give people an opportunity to get the notification. We're going to roll as we do, and people will join in as they are able. Those who are watching, again, good evening to you. Glad to have you with us. Share this out. If you share it as is, they will actually get it live. They'll be able to watch it live, which I learned not too long ago. So if you share now, they can watch it live, whether on Facebook or YouTube. Apparently, that's how it works. Here is what the write-up said for this week. Engaged again. I forgot the word again. Sorry. For our description. Have you ever heard a conversation with someone and they mention to you that they've been engaged, that is to be married, a time or two? Have you ever wondered why they never made it to the altar? Why they bothered to try again? Considering the seriousness of such a step as getting engaged, we will discuss some of the potential warning signs that the relationship won't make it to the honeymoon. Now, obviously, honeymoon is after the wedding ceremony, right? Won't make it to the honeymoon. We will also discuss the matter of the long-term engagement. Why or why not do this? Of course, join us tonight. Now, this topic, well, Gabe, I've never been engaged, I've never been married, or I got engaged, got married. But I get the feeling out of near 1,000 Facebook accounts in particular, somebody, now you ain't got to tell your business, but somebody knows what I'm talking about. Somebody knows what it is like to ask a woman to marry you, and that doesn't work out, and ask another. Somebody knows what it's like, and I suspect women, maybe a little bit more than men, knows what it's like to have a man ask you to marry them. You go through a process, however far you go, you don't make it, you break up. Maybe you even go to the day of, cold feet, whatever the case may be, some unfortunate truth comes out and you don't get married. Now, if you get married and then you break up within six weeks, that's not what I'm talking about. You got married. You made it. But I'm talking about those who are, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. You know the phrases, right? Now, I don't intend to be lighthearted. I think this is very serious for those who have experienced this. Maybe you know someone who's gone through this even once. Share this out. Get this to them because they can certainly, and talk back to me. Let's talk. Let's chat. That's what this is about. Talk back to me. So, and I got it set up where I can see the YouTube comments, and then I'm pulling it up here on Facebook so I can see the Facebook comments, and I'll try to respond as I see them. So first things first, engagement. What are we talking about when we say engagement? What we're talking about is not always, right? Typically a man asking a woman's hand in marriage, okay? Saying, will you marry me? Or we should get married, or hey, what you doing tomorrow, or whatever. I don't even know what at this point. Hey, let's do this thing, eloping, with the intent to elope, whatever the case may be. But ultimately, the man asking the woman, will you become, hopefully, supposedly, life partner? Till death do us part. And somebody jokingly said, Gabe, who came up with those vows in the first place? I don't know. I've never researched it. Don't ask me. I don't know. But somebody look it up. Let us know, right? Google it. Ain't that what they're saying? Google it. Find out who came up with those vows. Anyway, till death do you part, right? Now, every woman I ever asked, I married. So I don't know this from a male's perspective. So I'm running a little blind on this. I'm running a little blind. I'll be honest with you. This one topic, I mean, he's like, how do you research this? Like, where do you go to look to find out, you know, other than just articles of people describing their experiences, statistics? I guess I could have looked up some statistics. I don't know if that'll help us, but it is what it is. But I do know, and I'm going to say this, and obviously I'm not going to call anybody names, but I know more than a handful of people. Yeah, men and women, mostly women, who got engaged, not just dating, not just long-term dating. I want to be distinct here. Actually popped. The question was popped. A ring was given. That's what I mean by engaged. To be married. They got a ring. They start telling everybody. They change their status on Facebook, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They let the world know. I'm going to get married. Okay? So when I say engagement, I don't mean playing house by living together. As I said, playing house as old people. So y'all don't know nothing about that. I got some grades. I know something about that. Old people should talk about playing house. I don't mean living together and, you know, just living together and common law marriage. No, I mean an actual proposal. Okay? I know at least 5 people, at least 5, and some of them multiple times. Multiple. I mean, you know, over a lifetime. I've been an adult for, I'm sorry, I'm kidding. No, I've been an adult since 18, of course, and I'll be 48. So I've been an adult 30 years come next year, come February of next year. I've, you know, been grown for a minute. And I know a lot of people, and this is varied ages, ethnic backgrounds, cultures, you know what I'm saying? So the first thing we have to talk about is the obvious, you know, pink elephant in the room, embarrassment. Embarrassment. Let's just get it out the way. I have to assume, now again, I'm a novice. I don't know any information. I don't have a personal experience. The people I've talked to, one of the things they talk about is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. How do I do this? I know of a situation. I'm going to just be really, really general, no names, and I'm going to try to be so general that you can't figure out anything. I know of a name. I know of a guy who asked a woman to marry him, set a date. I could actually still tell you the date. For whatever reason, it is etched in my mind. I don't even know why. Set a date, bought a nice ring. Nice ring. Nice ring. Nice ring. And introduced her to people. I'm just trying because some of the people are on my page. So people introduced her to people. Obviously, I met her, right? Yeah. They did not get married. Ring introduced her to peoples. I suspect she introduced him to peoples, and they didn't make it. I didn't ask him why. Well, no, I take that back. Yes, I did. He cited that as she got more comfortable with the idea of getting married, don't get mad at me, ladies. I'm just a messenger, literally. But he cited that as time went on, she was significantly younger. I'm thinking about maybe 14 years, maybe 14 years younger. I'm not going to give any more detail, but 14 years younger. And she, you know, he was working a good job at the time. And she shared with him that one of her ambitions, I got to at least say her age. She was in her early 30s. She was in her, I got to say it because that's context. She was in her early 30s. And she said, hey, honey, I would like to go back to school, finish up my education. And he said, no. Among other things that he cited, some things that she was saying that she would like to experience and have and whatever, which I suspect is a conversation, having been married before, that you do have. I don't know if she said it before they got engaged or after, so I can't give you that. So don't ask me because I don't know. And that's a very good point, by the way. Too many are in love with being in. Too many are in. I don't want to mess your comment up. Too many are in love with being I assume you mean with the thought of being, okay, in love with someone and being in love, not actually doing what it takes to make it. I agree. Absolutely agree. Kudos. I don't know if that was them, but I agree with that because I've seen it in my conversations many times. Many. The idea, Gabe, I want to hold hands, romantic. I'm a diehard romantic, or I'm a, you know, whatever the phrase is, not diehard romantic. What is it? Something romantic. Okay. Maybe it is diehard romantic. I don't know. You know, I just want someone to grow old with. And I'm not saying those things are bad, but when I'm talking to individuals, particularly women, obviously, who say those things, that's awesome. That's fantastic. That's ideal. That's a better word. That's ideal. But as Miss Charming Post states, that's the name. Charming Post states that you got to work at building a foundation. Let me say this. Now, I'm not here to talk about marriage, but for those who actually want to get married, holding hands, cuddling, walking on beaches, traveling are all spectacular, fantastical, but they are not foundational. They're not foundational. Those things are not foundational. They are wonderful, watch this, if you have a foundation. Now, let me transition back to the subject. So when you're talking about getting married and getting engaged, then what you're talking about, watch this now, is establishing the foundation on which the marriage will take place. So let's have this discussion. Ready? Y'all talk to me. Talk to me. So let's say, here's my question. What do we got to have? I'm going to ask the question. What do we got to have? Help me out to have a firm foundation. I got several people watching. Give me some things that you feel like you got to have in a foundation. Come on, give me some stuff. Talk back to me. YouTube, Facebook, talk back to me. What do we got to have? I'm not saying you and I. I mean, what do people who want to get married, what do you got to have? Somebody talk to me. Talk to me. Type something. I'm going to wait on you. I can't wait too long. So type quick, quick, come. What do you need in a foundation? Trust. There you go. All right, trust. That's my YouTube person. You got to have some trust for sure. Got to have some trust. What else do you need to have a firm foundation? Communication, absolutely. And you got to have some communication. You got to have some trust in your communication. Equally yoked. That's a bit more Christian oriented, but let me break it down like this, Kelly. You gotta see things eye to eye. You gotta have some dating data. You're gonna have to break that down. I don't know what that means. Respect, patience, absolutely, right? We all know this stuff, but when we start getting googly-eyed, right? We start getting googly, woo, Friendship is a big one, absolutely. So we start getting googly-eyed at each other. We start having heart palpitations. Oh, here's the big one, understanding, absolutely. You know I'm gonna have to say it. I'm so tired of being alone, tired of on my own. I don't know the rest of the song, but we all get it. The problem, I think, in part as to why engagements and even marriage don't last, is because if there's that, I talked about this a few weeks ago, desperation. Remember that word? Another word for desperation is hopelessness. And then somebody comes and makes you go weak in the knees. I get so weak in the knees, I can hardly speak. I lose all control. Something takes over me in a daze. So y'all didn't know I knew that. So amazing. And they sing too high. Knocks me right off of my feet. Can't explain how your love makes me weak. That again sounds wonderful, fantastical, amazing. But after you get through being so weak in the knees, you can hardly speak, you lose all control, something takes over me. After you get through that phase, then you got to start adding understanding, patience, respect. I don't know what dating data means just yet. Somebody will help me understand that. You gotta be mutual in your views. You see what I'm saying? At some point, trust, friendship. At some point or another, you have to stop being weak in the knees. You can hardly speak, and you actually have to set some foundation. My recommendation is you go in looking to establish some foundation. Watch this in your preferences, but that's a conversation for another time. Absolutely. One of my YouTubers, Miss Joy Laverne, said both also have to have a clear understanding of marriage and all that comes with it. Absolutely. The ability to pray for your husband, if you're a Christian, for sure, or if you're in a religion where you pray for each other, absolutely. All those things are wonderful, but those things have to be upfront, and it still doesn't guarantee you, right? It still doesn't absolutely mean you're going to make it over the altar, but it gives you, watch this, some sense that what you have, watch this, is strong. Now, unless they're lying, then I'm going to say it because I know somebody going to bring it up. If the person is lying, well, none of this stuff is going to wash if they're lying. You go from being weak in the knees and all of that to, if you find out they're lying, it's a wash. So we can't count that much. But if they're telling the truth, if both parties are telling the truth, you got to have a communication that is foundational, that is grounded. Yes, state your intentions and what you want from one another. Exactly. So I think, let's just get into it. One of the reasons why engaged but never get married, never make it to the altar, is because there is no real establishment of foundation. All these things, wonderful things you guys listed, and I'm sure there's 100 more, right? What I've seen in counsel, I hate to use that word. Oh yeah, absolutely. For those who are on Facebook, Ms. Dabney on YouTube talked about the fact about mutual understanding, whether or not with children. Absolutely. I mean, all that. Trust me, there's tons more, because y'all didn't even hit mine. Y'all didn't touch mine. Trust, you didn't even hit. Well, maybe one or two of them, but I have a whole lot of them that ain't even on here. So ultimately, my point is, if you don't establish a foundation, you can't, and men and women, it takes two to tango. You can't have any real confidence that your getting engaged is going to lead to getting married. You can't have it. You can't be certain that if you haven't taken the time after you get through with the googly eyes and the weak knees, who is that, TLC? I get so weak. I had to drop that key. It's killing me. Hear the knees. I can hardly speak. I lose all control. Something takes over me in a daze. So amazed, it's not a phase, right? So you understand. Look at how powerful those lyrics are. It's not a phase. Yeah, it is. And for a lot of people, that's why they don't get there, because it is a phase. And it is a phase where my sense of desperation, stay with me, has been cured. I'm no longer single. SWV, my bad. So I'm no longer single. I can change the status on my Facebook page. I'm not trying to be funny, but I can tell you, again, I'm not trying to tell nobody's business. Oh, I see. Okay, got you. But I've literally seen somebody put engaged, and then a couple of months later, and they even posted the picture of their going on to be married certificate that you have to get, right? You have to get the certificate, and then when you go to the justice of the peace or however you get married, then they sign it. So they had already had it drawn up, names were on it. Again, not calling no names, not calling no names. Are we coming to it? Don't get ahead of me. We coming, yes, we coming to it. So the first thing is the two people don't lay a foundation, and then all of a sudden that marriage certificate, which obviously never happened, they never actually got married, disappeared. And what was so sad, I'm reading a post, and one of the family members of the person said, "Hey, sweetheart," I think it was an auntie, "did I see right? Aren't you engaged to be married?" Yeah, auntie, hit me up on Messenger. That broke my heart. I ain't gonna lie to you. That broke my heart. It broke my heart. Exactly. Changing your status publicly is serious business. Absolutely. And for those of you who are in a hurry because you finally got you a woman, you finally got you a man to change your marriage status or your relationship status, it's one thing to change your job status. It's another thing to change your dating relationship status. You all excited because you guys went to a movie together. So are we gonna date? Yeah, we date. I'm off the market. I'm off the market now. I'm not trying to be funny, but I crack up sometimes. I really do. Because then I just count it down. 5, 4, 3. I don't even get to 5. I mean to 1, 0. Boom. Relationship status change. I told my sister, because she wasn't on Facebook for a good minute, and she wrote a book, and they told her you need to get on social media. So I said, Kat, I'm gonna tell you right now, one of the things you're gonna notice is people's statuses changing. Sure enough, 6 months or so, she contacted me. She said, Gabe, you was right, man. People be changing them statuses. Anyway, so you gotta be, the two people gotta build a foundation. Now somebody got ahead of me, but I'm with you. Also, you got extended family. Oh, we got to talk about your people now. Yeah, y'all gonna love me. So let's talk about family. Let me ask another question. I like this. Let me ask a question. Don't share your personal experience, please. Do not tell me about your mother-in-law or almost mother-in-law. Don't tell me about your father-in-law. Please don't tell me on this broadcast. But is anybody familiar with, yes, no, let's start there, with a mother-in-law, a father-in-law, a brother, sister-in-law interfering in your engagement? Heck, in your dating relationship. Anybody? Hello? Well, don't share it here. You had a great one. Don't share it here, though. Don't share it here. Now this is one, I have to be honest, I've been told a lot. I've been told this one a lot. And I hate to say it, fellas. I hate to say it, fellas, but our mamas, not my mama, but I've been told about mamas in particular. I'm sorry, fellas, I got to do it. Mama's boys. I'm sorry, man. I got to put our business in the streets, man. Mama's boys, man. Especially if you got that overbearing mama and you her darling son. and she don't want no woman to come and interfere with her relationship. See, the truth of the matter is, and I'm not talking about all of them, but let's just be honest, jealousy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put it out there now. Oh, do they? I didn't know they did. Okay, somebody said they got shows about this stuff. You know, when moms start getting jealous because you start spending more time, obviously, with the woman you're dating, obviously, with the woman you just asked to marry you. You're trying to build a foundation. You're trying to build a relationship, and mama in particular starts making comments about you don't come see me no more. You don't call like you used to. You used to come anytime I would call, day or night. Now you don't come see your poor old mama. You know that heifer don't. Hey, I'm just going to put it out there, man. I ain't never said it. My mama never said it. But you know that heifer don't love you like I do. Do she cook your favorite food? Who do you turn to when you get sick, son? And say, ain't nobody going to talk to me now. Ain't nobody going to talk to me now. Ain't nobody going to say nothing to me now, right? Oh, fellas, you quiet on me now. But I've heard the stories, man. I've heard the horror stories. Let's just be honest. Let's call it what it is. The horror stories. And it ain't always mama. Let me be fair. Sometimes it's daddy. This my baby. This my baby girl. No man can have her. No man can treat her better than I can. Are you going to be there, son? Yes, yes, sir. I'm going to be there. Yes, sir. I got it. What kind of job you have? I have a good job, sir. What kind of, I make good money. Well, it ain't all in the money you make. Well, you just asked me about money, so I told you I had money. Well, it ain't in the money. And are you going to put her before yourself? Yes, sir. And are you going to take off the job when she's sick? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, can't nobody do my baby like me. And can't nobody be there for her like me. Hey, there's fathers like that too. Overbearing fathers. What about siblings? You know what I'm saying? Siblings, aunties, uncles, right? You know, you get the, well, they closer to me. Sometimes, now I'm going to really go deep. Don't get mad at me. Okay, get mad at me if you need to. Okay? But what about pastors? What about your church home? For those who are not Christians, stay with me. I'm coming back. But I got to do it. You know me. I don't pull no punches. I know for a fact in my 28 years, going on 28, 29 years of doing this, about pastors. Now, you know she my member now. Here's one where you went and got engaged and you didn't even tell me. I'll get you back in a minute. Stay with me. I hate to say this because I am a pastor, but I know for a fact there have been pastors because maybe the young lady, I say young, maybe the woman was single for a while, right? And so she really trusted her pastor or the deacons or whoever to really look after her. And maybe she had kids, right? And so truth be told, he was there for her. He was there. Those men were there for her. I don't know, you know, but I have been told, I know directly about situations where even religious, let me not say just pastors, religious leaders can be extremely overbearing and possessive. So you go, hey, you know, I would like to get married. Hey, I got to meet them first. Okay, cool. You bring them before the pastor or the leaders or whatever. And they checking them out and they looking at them up and down and, you know, doing all this, asking 215 questions, you know, not 20 questions. They going deep with it, right? Well, I'll sign off on it. Well, first of all, anyway, let me chill. Let me chill. Who you think you are that you're going to sign off? But anyway, so, you know, they sign off on you to get married. But let's say, since we're talking about religion, they go to a different church. So you're engaged and you decide to go visit your fiance's church. You want to meet their people, the people that they fellowship with, right? And you come back next week or a couple of weeks to your own place of worship and you get stared at like you got dirt on your face. Now, for those of you who are saying, Gabe, really? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I hate to admit it, but absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I understand going to your spiritual leaders for counsel, but that's you asking them. That's not them making you do it. You grown. Now, if a person was 18, 17, 18, 19, and even though they could probably legally marry, I would strongly encourage, right? Even early 20s, I would probably be pretty strong about my encouragement for them to get counsel. But I have seen religious, and not just the spiritual leadership, how about them old mothers? Oh, I ain't scared. How about them old mothers? Look, man, I'm just telling you what I know. Who feel like they have some special right to tell you what they want to tell you. Okay, I ain't in trouble enough. I got to get in more trouble. How about your community? Especially if your skin tone is similar to mine, or in the Hispanic community. And I venture to say, because I grew up with the Asian community as well, and the Asian community. I don't know about my Caucasian brothers and sisters, but I can tell you definitely about black folk, pretty much about Hispanics, because I grew up in a Hispanic community. And yeah, I'm gonna poke the hornet's nest tonight. And I think it's pretty safe to say the Asian community. I got a friend on here. She might not be watching, but she can speak to it. She's Asian. We used to work together many years ago. And these communities, woo, yeah. So that might include your mama and your daddy. That might include your pastor, but that could include your sister's best friend. That could include your neighbor down the street who saw you when you was running around outside in diapers. That includes your babysitters. That includes people, your barber shop, your beauty shop, the gas attendant. I'm sorry, it's just fun. I mean, anybody in your community, and now you know that's a word I use all the time. And we all know this, but we don't talk about it. Those people, you ready? I have to use this word, gossip. Gossiping. Yeah, you know they engaged, but you know he broke. Ooh, why she marrying him? She trying to get his money? Not saying it to her, not saying it to him, but saying it in the same community that they're in. Let me use the word I want to use. Not just gossip. These jokers is messy. They are straight up messy. You want to know what can kill an engagement, even if you seem to have such a wonderful relationship? Messy jokers. They can also kill a marriage too. I mean, let's be honest. They can kill dating. They can kill an engagement. They can kill a marriage. Man, they can kill a mockingbird. I don't give a rip. These people are dangerous. But if they've been in your community, the person you go to get your hair done, hey, your doctor, your gynecologist, your family practitioner. Oh, so guys, they're working on you and checking your heart. So what you got going on? Hey, doc, I'm going to get married. All of a sudden, they're trying to become counselors. They're not certified counselors. They're doctors. They're nurse practitioners. Why they all in your Kool-Aid? And you don't realize it, and you sitting there just talking. Oh, yeah, I'm getting married. Oh, really? Are you going to have him come to one of your doctor's appointments? Are you going to have her come with you? Because I would think that if you're going to get married, they would come to you to your doctor's appointment because you know they need to know all your medical. Well, hold on. We're engaged. We're getting there. Well, I just think, ain't nobody asked you, man. Ain't nobody asked you nothing. Ain't nobody asked you nothing. Yes, absolutely. Messy and miserable. But let's just be honest. One of the reasons why people end up finding themselves engaged and then no longer engaged is messy people in the community. In the community, not just your pastor, not just your mama, your daddy, your niece, your nephew, your brother, your sister, your cousins, no, just people in general in the community, and they ain't always directly talking to you. Now, when you get it, oh man, I try not to get in trouble, but I'm gonna have to poke this hornet's nest, as somebody said, as Miss Daphne said. I'm gonna have to poke it. You're gonna have to start kicking people out your life just to make it to the altar. You got to start just kicking people out, because I'm coming. I got 2 more and I'm done. I got 2 more. Let's narrow that community one more time. Well, 2 times. The first one is besties. Yeah, I said it. I said it. Friend girls, homeboys, especially for men, but I ain't gonna just pick on the men. Friends. How many of us have them? Friends. Ones we can depend on. Best be friends. Oh, I'm going old school. Y'all don't know nothing about that kind of music. Y'all don't know about that. Or as the old school Christians you say, I wasn't always saved. Yeah, anyway. So the reality of it is, let's go friends. Straight up friends. First of all, they can be jealous too. Because you can't be, frenemies, exactly. You can't be hanging with your friends as much as you used to. So now you get to hear stuff like, we used to hang out. I mean, I know you engaged and everything, but man, I mean, I'm not trying to knock your relationship, and I know you've been single for 477 years, but ain't it time, still make room for your friends? Don't forget about us. What kind of crap is that? Don't forget about us. Because, I was there when you was in kindergarten and Sally Sue put that gum in your hair. I was there when Tom ran up on you and, he kept poking you. And then I said, Tom, don't poke my friend. Man, we've been friends. Man, we ate, man. When my mama died, you was there. Oh, I'm trying to be a little light, but let's just get real. When my mama died, I was there. When your mama died, I was there for you. And now I know you engaged. I know y'all look like you getting serious, but I just think they too possessive. I just think that they don't want you to spend no time with me. Well, I can see why. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But now, am I knocking a friend being concerned? No. Am I knocking a friend giving friendly advice? Of course not. I do it all the time. Now, part of that's my job, but people call me, I tell them what I think. And we don't have to be outright friends, but that's what I do. I am not a matchmaker. Don't call me. But if somebody said, Gabe, I'm in a relationship and it's like this, I would tell them, what I think. But I've also been told about friends, about frenemies, about those who was at henpeck, who start sour mouthing. I know y'all ain't heard that one before. Who start sour mouthing like they chewing on Sour Patch candy while they talking to you, like they sucking on lemons while they talking to you. They ain't even met the dude yet. They haven't even met the young lady yet, and they already running them down because nobody's good for you. Woo! Let me go a little deeper. What I've learned is, and I've been single for a good minute now, this definitely happens when you have male-female friends. For those of you who believe, and I don't disagree with you, I have women who I consider to be my friend. But let's say you're friends with a person of the opposite sex. I'm gonna frame this. And there was no interest expressed at any particular point, or maybe in passing. one of the other express some interest, make comments, like if you and I ever get married. I mean, I'm kidding, I'm joking. I know we just friends. Men, fellas, we do. And then all of a sudden, your male or female friend gets into a relationship. In the beginning, you're supportive, right? In the back of your head, you're hoping it doesn't go anywhere. I'm gonna get in trouble. I know. Give me a few more minutes and I'm done. So in the beginning, you're highly supportive. You're, oh yes, I'm so happy for you. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. I'm happy. Oh my God, no, you seem like you're not, no, I'm happy. Oh my God. I am so happy for you. Yes. Get my straight face, yes. See, don't I look happy? Yes, I'm absolutely ecstatic. I'm so overwhelmed with joy. Now, this is a person who's your friend. They know when things are bad because they see you crying or sad. They know when things are good, funny, upbeat, because they see you smiling and laughing and having a good time. So they tell you the wonderful, wonderful news. I got a man, I got a woman. And it's serious and we really like each other. It's awesome. It's fantastical. The one I told you that I've been seeing. Oh yeah. I'm all deep in it now. And if you lose a friend over this, I'm gonna tell you right now, good. If you lose a so-called friend of the opposite sex because of what I'm saying, good. Because they I won't say they never were your friend, but sometimes friendships can be changed by life circumstance. I actually believe somebody listening to me now or will listen to this later is thinking, did I end up losing a potential marriage opportunity because I had a friend who was jealous, who was envious? Maybe everybody was single, right? Man and woman was single, been friends for years. And then finally one of them got into a relationship. So obviously, listen to me, obviously the relationship needs to shift. I'm not going to tell my business, but I'm not going to tell the name, but in my second relationship, my second marriage, when I married the person, they had a male friend. When I married the person, they had a good male friend that they weren't working together with at the time, but she did know before her and I got married. Now, I manage myself very well. I will admit I do pretty good. But when I saw that this friendship was not taking a back seat, in fact, it was being thrown in my face in this way. We were friends before we met, which was basically telling me, shut up and deal with it. Well, they end up working together. Well, this gentleman is about, I'm 6 feet tall. This gentleman is about 6'1", 6'2", African-American, and bald head. So their co-workers was telling her, don't you think that that's a conflict of interest in some sense? Don't you think? And when she came home to tell me, I said, well, I can understand what they're saying. And needless to say, she didn't take kindly to what I said. And there was a lot of reasons why we ended up parting, but trust me, that wasn't necessarily my reason. But in the long run, it wasn't working out well. So the reality of it is, you listen to me, single men and women, you can legitimately have friends that are male, or excuse me, opposite sex. You can do it. You can. I think you have to be honest if there's attraction between you. Listen to me. This is not my subject tonight, but since I'm there, let me lay some knowledge on you. If there is an attraction, even by one person, you have to at least get it out there in the open. Because even if nobody acts on it, one of these days, what if you actually get into a relationship? What if the person who is attracted to the other person, let's say it's one person, let's say it's the man is attracted to the woman, right? And the woman, no, we cool, we just like brothers and sisters, cuts his heart out, you know, surgically removes it, throws it to the corner. You're in the friend zone, blah, blah, blah. But let's say over time, he accepts that to the extent so he can be in her life. Oh, I'm laying out everybody's business, I know. He accepts it so he can be in her life. I'm just telling you what it is. I've had to tell women this because y'all don't listen. If the man is attracted to you and you tell him he's in the friend zone and he's more like a brother and he takes it, oftentimes it's just because he's trying to stay around. He's just trying to hang in there for dear life. I'm telling you right now, that brother is holding on with the hope and the prayer, and he's doing whatever he's got to do to hope that you will eventually stop putting him in the friend zone and will concede that since he's been there so faithful at your side, you two should be together. I just destroyed a lot of friendships. But anyway, so let's say the lady is the one who didn't have the attraction. She meets somebody. She shares with her friend. Hey, man, guess what? Me and Big Head JoJo, man, we've been talking for a while. I know I haven't introduced you guys yet, but he is so wonderful. He reminds me, and this is that stupid stuff people say, he reminds me of you. That's like the dumbest. Anyway, so yes, he reminds me of you. He's so loving. He's so caring. Okay. All right. And so, well, okay, cool. You know, I know you wanted to be in a relationship. I know you wanted to be in a relationship. So let me meet the guy, right? Oh yeah, Big Head JoJo. You ain't never met him? Big Head JoJo. So you get into a relationship. And you know, you guys are pretty serious. By the time you mention it to your homie, you guys are actually far more serious, because let's say Big Head JoJo pops the question at the same time you introduce each other. You know, it's like, and you know, hey, nice to meet you, man. Yeah, you know, and I really love her, man. And oh man, I understand, because you know, her and I have been friends for a long time. And Big Head JoJo says, and as a matter of fact, I want the world to know. And he goes down on his knee and he proposes, and you are now engaged. I know I'm making it as bad as I can. I'm trying on purpose because I want you to get this. And I still got one more after this. Trust me, it's even worse than this one. So now you're like, yes, yes. And you look over at your friend and he's got that. Golf clap. Tiger Woods steps up to the plate. Sweet. So you can have friends of the opposite sex, and I'm gonna just throw this in because I just really want to salt that one. Some of you have friends that are of the same sex, but they are of the LGBTQ community. And y'all been friends for a while, and you know she likes women or men, or you know he likes men. So y'all friends, and they keep it cool. They don't overstep no boundaries. But when you announce that, girl, I got me, you know, girl, I found me a man. And she's been there to rub your head when you were sick. She was there. And you can lay your head on her shoulder and cry, girl, your sisters. And you know she go the other way. But because you told her, so you think everything is good. But now you just announced to her, one of your besties, and you know she might potentially like you, but y'all never put it out there. You never got it out, aired it out so you could just be clear with each other. and you just announced to her that Big Head JoJo is going to be your man. You guys are engaged. You're so happy. Now they have a choice to make, right? They could just, quote, be happy for you. And my recommendation, bag up. My recommendation. Or, unfortunately, what can happen and does happen is they hang around with Sour Patch jaws, and they talk down and they act mean or disconcerting towards your future potential mate. And unfortunately, you don't even realize that what they've done is create animus between your future husband or wife and them. And then they play the victim when the person calls them on it. See, they don't even like me and I'm your friend. And before you even realize it, you're calling off engagements, you're giving back rings, you're taking rings back, and you're moving on because it's too much drama between your bestie, especially if they're of the opposite sex, and your future mate, your potential mate. They force you into a space where you have to choose. My last example as to why I believe some engagements don't work beyond the obvious of lying, no real intention to get married. Again, obvious. But exes, you know I have to do it. Nobody wants to admit it, but and let me add, especially if there's children, but if you get that jealous ex, and you have children with that person, this just ain't me in on this one, ladies. You get a jealous ex and you have children together, you talking about a potentially, that's what we call baby mama, baby daddy drama, right? You're single, you were single for years, raising your child, your children. You didn't really have any relationships. Maybe you had some friends. I'm gonna leave it right there. Don't put nobody put nothing. How you doing? Good evening. And that daggone baby daddy, daggone baby mama, and I'm saying daggone, I don't need nobody to cuss now. They had a thought in their mind, something to this effect. Maybe one day we'll get back together. Maybe one day. I have another song. There's another song in my head from my boys. Although we've come to the end of the road, still I can't let go. It's unnatural. You belong to me. I belong to you. But you moved on. And there's another song, I moved on. I'll be strong. Anyway, sorry. I got songs in my head tonight. So you move on, right? I'm going to put it as you move on. But that brother or that sister, that man or woman, it's unnatural. You belong to me. You belong to me. Really, it's all they. I belong to you to the end of the road. And so they don't want to let you go. Oh, you left the relationship, the marriage, the dating situation, and you don't even have to have kids together. Now I threw kids in because I just wanted to make it as realistic as possible. But you ain't even got to have kids together. But you spent 10 years of your life with this person, and they just couldn't understand why them cheating on you was an issue. They couldn't understand why them staying out till wee hours of the night was an issue. They couldn't understand why them cussing you out, spending all your money, whatever the reasons for breaking up, they can't get it. They don't understand. So you finally move on. I'll move on. I'll be sure I can hear that song in my head. You finally move on, And I mean, you wait for a little bit. They may even get into a relationship. So you go, whew, I can finally get into a relationship. They've moved on. You got to understand, I get told this stuff. People tell me this stuff. So you think we're good. You start entertaining a relationship. Now, you ain't telling everybody your business because you got some intelligence. You know, if people get into your business too soon, it could go terribly wrong. So you wait until you really know or you really feel like this is a good one. And then you finally change your status on Facebook. You finally make an announcement on Instagram, Twitter, and you tell the world, hey, he asked me to marry you. He asked me to marry him. Hey, I asked her and she said yes. And the ex gets wind of it and all HE double hockey sticks breaks loose. I saved the best for last because most of us are not willing to admit that may have some reason why we're actually still single, because we got some crazy Looney Tune ex who ain't gonna let things be, especially if there's a child. We got to get a restraining order. We got to do all this kind of crazy nonsense. And even if it ain't that bad, they still lurking around. They still asking questions. They're what they call trolling on Facebook. So you post a picture of the ring he bought you. Here comes your ex with his fake account. With his fake account on Facebook to say that ring is cheap. Your ex bought you a bigger one, and it's actually him he's trolling you. And Gabe, I ain't gonna end my engagement because of that. Yeah, you might not, but the person you're engaged in, if they feel like you're not able to manage your ex, listen to what I'm saying. Don't get mad at me. If they feel like you're not managing the situation, the relationship, whatever you want to call it, with your ex, especially if there's children, listen to me, especially if there's children. If they feel like you're not managing your situation well, especially once you announce that you're engaged, don't be surprised. And they may list other reasons. They may start looking more critically at other things, because if they don't feel like you're doing well with this situation, they start looking over at how you're doing with your money. They start looking at how you're dealing with your children. They start things that they didn't necessarily look at with a fine tooth comb before. If they see like you ain't handling things with baby's daddy, baby's mama, or just with your ex period well, like there's some kind of communication that's leading them on and leading them to believe that there's still something there. You're saying, no, babe, we're done. But he did come by the other night and, he was sick and, he is the father of my children. So we didn't do anything, but I ain't finished. I know it's 10. I'll be done in a minute. But I just let him sleep on the couch because I didn't want my children's father to be out on the street. Oh, so you do stuff like that? No, this was just one time. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Hey, man. I saw you. Was that your baby's mama driving your car? Oh, she had to go to the doctor's office and her car broke down. So she called me and said, could I give her a ride? And I said, well, I don't want to give you a ride, but I'm not using my car right now, and so you can come by and use my car. You can come by and use my car. And now your fiance is sitting there with her eyes coming out her head. Y'all don't want me to talk about it. I understand. Because now you're going to make her have to swallow that. You're going to make him have to swallow that. Do you understand that? Do you understand that you decided to put yourself back on the market because you're tired of being sick. I'm so tired of being alone. You're so tired of being alone. And so you put yourself back on the market, but you didn't finish, you didn't square away, you didn't set the boundaries from your previous situation. So as soon as they find out you're in a deep relationship, soon as they find out that you're engaged, now they start causing a stir. And because you didn't handle it, because you didn't fix it, because you didn't settle it, now they're going to potentially destroy your engagement. They're going to potentially destroy your engagement. You don't have a child custody arrangement, so they start playing around with the times you get to see your child. You don't have a child support arrangement or whatever the case may be, and you know she's messy, and you know he's messy, so all of a sudden he's popping up at the house trying to see if he can catch you with the dude, because you know that's why he's doing it. You know that's why he's doing it. He's saying things like this. You know, I called you last week and you didn't answer me. Was you on the phone with that individual? I'm going to keep it straight. With that individual? Well, that ain't none of your business. Well, I don't want that individual dealing with my children. I don't care if you get engaged, which is going to sound extremely stupid, but I'm going to say it because people say it, but he can't have nothing to do with my children. And because those things were not discussed up front, and your children are still in the house, you potentially have an engagement killing situation. You potentially, and you didn't even think about it, did you? You have an engagement murdering situation. And I want to end by encouraging you who may have those kind of situations. Now, most of us may have children who are grown. Cool. Cool. I could go some other places with that too, with that ex. Especially if there's some money involved. Oh, you don't want me to do it. Especially if there's a house involved. Especially if there's some bills being paid by said person who is no longer in the relationship. Said person is paying for that car note. Said person is helping you get your hair did. Said person is still trying to stay connected. So they promised you all kind of stuff that in the beginning felt good to you and you didn't mind it because they supposedly was willing to stay away, but they was helping you and they was constantly kicking you down with some ends. And now you have the nerve to try to get engaged, more power to you. And now you can't figure out why that person is threatening to cut you off. Could it be that the reason why they were offering to cook for you, and if you get sick, you know I love you, we just couldn't be married, so you don't turn to me? Well, the reason why they might have potentially been offering that is because when the time would come that you would try to get into a relationship, they were going to be able to use the strings and use you like a puppet. Gabe, how do you know this stuff? I have talked to so many people in my lifetime. I can't even begin to tell you how much stuff rattles around in this brain. I can't begin to lay it out really the way I want to, but hopefully I've done the job. So when you think about what can potentially kill your engagement, and really at any point, even your marriage, and that's really what you got to think about. What can kill your marriage if you choose to get married? What can cause what you hope to be forever, or at least till you die, to go away? All these things, I'll give you what, 3, 4, 5 of them. Now, maybe you don't have the one with the ex. Maybe you don't have the one with the in-laws, but maybe you have the one with the community. Now, most people are probably going to be, you just ain't really laid a good solid foundation. You guys haven't had open-ended, real candid, you ain't got to be rude, but you ain't got to be arguing and yelling, but real candid conversation. Look, I don't like when, whatever. Okay, honey, I hear you. Can you deal with that? Yes, no. Well, I don't like, well, what's yours? Well, I don't like this. Okay, well, ooh, that's a big one. Let me see. After you get through being googly-eyed and they coming on, they googly and your knees is weak. SWV. Thank you. Somebody help me out. After you get through with all that, at some point or another, you're going to have to recognize community. You're going to have to recognize in-laws. You're going to have to deal with exes. You're going to have to deal with, oh, I didn't even throw this. I'll just throw it in real quick. This ain't going to cost you nothing. Grown children. Grown children. How about them? How about them? Who they protecting your interests. They checking in on you. How about your grown children? How about them? You engaged to be married. You on your way. You feeling good about it. And all of a sudden, that boy that you ain't seen in 2 years pops up. Mama, I gotta live with you. Oh, come on, baby. And you didn't bother to think to have a conversation with your fiance about what that looks like. Now, look, we're grown people. I know some of us are Christian. And I'm going to say it this way. Stay with me. But some people, you know, you got an empty nest and you get into a relationship. You like to spend time. That's all I'm going to say. You flush that out any way you want. You like to spend time together, right? And then all of a sudden, your grown child, who might not be good, worth the paper the birth certificate his name is printed on, pops up, or her name is printed on, pops up into your life right when you in the thick of it, and just starts messing around and playing around with your life, which includes your engagement. And there may be a legitimate reason. Maybe your fiance is just not mature enough to handle it. Hey, it is what it is. You love your children. They're your flesh and blood. I hear you. I hear you. Trust me. I already done heard you. But understand this. You better have a real considerate conversation with yourself and with your potential. If you really on your way and you feel like you guys are getting close, I know you're not trying to push the man too hard, ladies. I get it. But you need to say, look, I don't know where we're going, but I feel like we've gotten really close. So we need to have a talk. We may or may not go any deeper than this, but you know what? Before we get too deep and now we swimming, you know, we should be swimming upstream together. I got to tell you about some things. I got to tell you. And the same thing, fellas. Hey, look like we getting close. I'm not saying that, you know, we're going to be, you know, whatever, but I think and see, this is why this notion of kind of like, you know, some magical moment of engagement and all that stuff, y'all got to set that stuff aside. I know, Gabe, you're killing my romantic, you know, true blue romantic stuff. I know. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to. But what I'm just telling you is you got to have, and I don't know when, you know, each situation is very specific, but you got to have some really serious conversations. Stop going to the movies every other week, going to dinner all the other alternate weeks, going to jazz clubs or whatever you're doing. That's all fine and good. But hey, at some point or another, when you leave the jazz club, the movies, the restaurant, you know, before you sit and cuddle on the couch and Netflix and chill, whatever, you need to have a conversation. And maybe a series of conversations. And all that stuff y'all said. What's the real intentions? All that stuff. We got to have some trust. We got to have some, I got to scroll back. We got to have some trust, some patience, some understanding. We got to get this dating data. We got to be, you know, we got to have some communication. On and on. We got to get all that in it. We got to discuss our children. We got to discuss grandchildren. We got to discuss mamas who might be prying in, daddies who's looking over in it, siblings who's trying to touch it. We got to look at all these things. And look, I'm gonna just be honest. And the older you get, the more stuff you got. You get to a certain age now. I'm at an age now. I got to talk about bad knees. I got to talk about a hernia. I got to talk about high blood pressure and hypertension. You got to have some very serious conversations, and then you get engaged, and now you're engaged, and you're trying to navigate these conversations. And now it's hard because you're engaged. Maybe what you should do at the point of being asked, asking or being asked, you know what? My answer, I want to say yes. However, let's talk. Before I say yes, I love you. I would love to marry you, whatever the case may be, baby. But look, we gotta have a couple of talks here. What about? Hey, don't be nervous. We just need to be conscientious. We need, exactly. You know, we need to have a real, we have to have some real conversation here. Some real conversation. And at the end of that, if you still want to marry me, I'll take the ring. If I still want to marry you, I'll take the ring. It's a yes, whatever the case may be. But we need to have, and I know that's hard, but is that as hard as getting to the altar and then being stood up? I'm just asking. All right, I went over my time. I appreciate your patience. You guys stayed with me for the most part. I hope this helps. Share this out. Tag some people you know who may have gone through a bad breakup after an engagement. Maybe some of this stuff will resonate with them. If they're asking themselves, why me? What happened? Did I not do my homework? Share this with them. This might actually offer them some peace of mind. Maybe it'll give them some answers. Even for people, even though this wasn't about engagement, even for people who wasn't married long. Maybe there were some things that they can learn from this. And maybe I need to do a whole broadcast on short marriages. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. But I hope this helps. We got some great topics again coming up. We're going to deal with next week. We're going to deal with the what I call the misses, mistrust, misunderstanding, miscommunication, and misjudgment. We'll deal with that next week. And then on the 28th, we're going to deal with it's a conspiracy. We're going to talk about conspiracy theories on the 28th of October. So till then, again, I hope this was great. We'll talk to you. We'll chat next week.